Hello and welcome to How to Get the Most Out of Your Data with Intelligent Search. My name is Tim McLaughlin. I'm a product manager with our language AI team. And I'm joined today by Rajesh. Rajesh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm a specialist solution architect at AWS. I help customers like you in their Amazon Kendra journey. Glad to meet you all. Tim?
Thanks, Rajesh. So today, just a quick overview of the agenda that we'll be walking through. First, we'll be going through an introduction to Amazon Kendra. Second, we'll be reviewing some of the Amazon Kendra connector differentiators. We'll be walking through how to set up connectors, some of our recent updates, and then concluding with a demo. Extracting insights from your data is getting harder and more difficult. We know that right now, 80% of the data at the enterprise level is unstructured. And over the last 2 years, especially with the work from home environment, we know that this digital documentation has been proliferating and it oftentimes is scattered across multiple content repositories. We've heard from our customers that we know that traditional keyword search applications have become really inaccurate with this proliferation of data. To keep up with the amount of data, implementations have often become really complex. There's a lot of overhead manual tuning and ongoing maintenance that goes into these complex implementations that introduces a lot of undifferentiated heavy lifting when it comes to search applications. So what do these challenges translate to from an impact perspective for your employees and for your customers? From an employee perspective, it can be really time intensive trying to find the right answers. It can be really difficult and frustrating to know which content repository that you should be searching through. And from a compliance and risk perspective, it's really important that those employees have the ability to find the right information that they need within documents so that they can effectively and efficiently do their job. From a customer perspective, oftentimes we've gone to websites and interacted with the search experience, and it's been either really inaccurate or totally useless. And that's a poor customer search experience. Also, when you have a contact center, when you have agents that are trying to find answers for your customers as quickly as possible, sometimes it can be really difficult to search through support information and internal documentation to solve customer answers quickly. And as well, if you have self-service chatbot implementations, oftentimes it can be really challenging to program all of the questions and answers that you'd like to provide, even if you already have that information. And because of some of these reasons, we've built Amazon Kendra. Amazon Kendra makes it easy to find what you're looking for. With Kendra, you can search through natural language style queries that make it intuitive to search your unstructured content. Our natural language understanding and machine learning helps provide things like instant answers and FAQ matching for your content. We've trained Kendra across 14 different domains so that naturally it has broad domain level expertise to recognize common lingo in varieties of different industries that our customers need today. And also with Amazon Kendra, we provide continuous improvement options so that Amazon Kendra will incrementally learn from user feedback. Later in this presentation, we'll be going into a bit more detail about how quick and easy it is to set up things like connectors, as well as double-clicking into how to create a secure search experience for your users or your customers. So when you're searching with Amazon Kendra, what does it look like? Well, when you search for something like, where is the IT support desk? You're searching with a natural language style question and you're looking for answers. When Amazon Kendra knows that you're looking for an IT support desk and a location, it will look through the embedded information, for example, this web page, where it states the first floor is where the IT support desk is. Amazon Kendra will pull out an instant answer from this information, as you'll see displayed here with the first floor, as well as matching with frequently asked questions that are similar to the question that you've asked. We also provide a traditional document ranking experience so that your customers and your employees have the ability to look through all of this information and get the right information and answers that they're looking for. In regards to how you tune the search relevance of Amazon Kendra, right out of the box, as we stated, there's incremental learning built into Amazon Kendra. The service will learn from previous user interactions for content that's voted up, that means that is good for the question, or content that was bad or not related to the question. And your users can provide that feedback that will directly impact the search experience for future users. You can also re-rank preferred documents, and none of this requires any machine learning expertise right out of the box for you with Amazon Kendra. You do also have ways where you can boost content based off of data sources, authors, document freshness, and other attributes. We also do support the ability to import custom and business-related synonyms. So when you're thinking about building an intelligent search application, here's what a high-level workflow would look like. First is going to be your data step in terms of how are you preparing and ingesting your data into Amazon Kendra. The second is how do you optimize the results of the search experience. And the third is how and where you deploy your search application. For the discussion today, we're going to be focusing on the first step, the data step. We'll be talking more about how Amazon connectors work with a variety of native connectors that we support, custom data source options, and how we work well with some of our other language AI services like Amazon Comprehend, Transcribe, Textract, and Recognition. With Amazon Kendra connectors, it makes it easy to synchronize data from multiple content repositories at a negligible cost. Here are just some examples of the native connectors that we offer today. Currently, Amazon Kendra supports over 20 native connectors, and we also do have a variety of partner-developed connectors that are available as well. You can visit the Amazon Kendra connectors webpage to view all of the current native connectors and all of the current partner-developed connectors that we offer. Outside of the native connectors that we do support and the partner-developed connectors, one of the first differentiators when it comes to Amazon Kendra is that we also support the ability to create a custom data source. Meaning that if you have a data source today for your organization that's important and unique, and we don't support that today, and one of our partners don't have a solution for you, you can also create this custom API interface through the custom data source connector to support Amazon Kendra connecting to your data. You can also leverage this custom data source connector to create custom event-based sync schedules. A second differentiator when it comes to Amazon Kendra connectors is that you can connect multiple data sources with one search index. With one index, you can connect up to 50 data sources, and it'll support up to 500 custom attributes per index, meaning that you can create a truly customized and unified search experience for your employees and for your customers. And lastly, when it comes to differentiators to connectors, security is always important in Job Zero here at AWS. AWS has a shared responsibility model where we are responsible for security of the cloud, and our customers are responsible for security within the cloud. To help make sure our customers have the best options available to secure their information within the cloud, here are just some examples of ways that Amazon Kendra can help. First, Amazon Kendra will securely authenticate with each one of the data sources that you select. Each data source will have its own options and authentication methods for Amazon Kendra. We'll be going through some examples later in this presentation. Second, you can also encrypt your data at rest and in transit. This will ensure that your data is always protected, no matter where it is. Third is if your data source also supports users and groups and policies applied to those users and groups, when you sync your data source with Amazon Kendra, those will automatically be ingested as users and group policies that will be saved in a principal store, giving you an API-driven interface to interact with how policies will be applied to your users and your groups. We also support access control lists at the document level, so if your documents have ACLs, those will also be ingested and applied at time of search. Kendra also supports a variety of token-based user access so that you have the flexibility and options to provide ways to authenticate your users, but only provide them access to the information that you would like them to be permitted for. In regards to compliance programs, Amazon Kendra is also compliant with a variety of different compliance standards like SOC 123, FedRAMP Moderate, HIPAA, and others. If you're curious about which programs Amazon Kendra qualifies for from a compliance perspective, please see the AWS Compliance Services and Scope webpage. So now let's walk through how do you set up a connector. Well, the first step is to select a data source that we offer. As you can see, we offer a variety of third-party and native AWS services already as options within the AWS console. As stated previously, if you don't have a data source that you currently have today within your organization, you can leverage the custom data source connector option. We also do support a web crawler interface. So if you have a support forum or web pages that you would like to make searchable as well, you can use the web crawler connector. Each one of these connector or data sources will have a 3 to 5 step setup process, making it an easy and guided process to enable you to set up your connector. Once you've selected the data source that you would like to connect to, you then would need to define the access and the security to that data source. As mentioned earlier, each data source will have its own way to securely authenticate to Amazon Kendra. And the examples here you'll see is GitHub versus something like Google Drive. If you do provide authentication credentials, you'll see here as well that you can use AWS Secrets Manager to store those credentials. And one of the final steps when you're configuring your connector is to set up the sync run schedule frequency. But before we jump into the frequency, let's talk a little bit more about what syncing from a data source actually means, as it is a two-step process with Amazon Kendra. The first step is the crawling step. When you point Amazon Kendra to your data source, it will crawl the data that is available for being ready for indexing. What this means is when data is added, edited, or removed from the index, Amazon Kendra will detect those updates and make sure to make the appropriate recommendations during the index step. So when you first sync your data source, all of the data would be new. And so all of that will be included within the indexing step. However, moving forward, if you do add files, if you edit existing files or delete those files, during the crawling step, those changes will be noticed and will be indexed properly during the following step. This way, the overhead and manual maintenance of maintaining freshness of your index for Kendra is automatically taken care of you. Now, all you have to worry about is maintaining your data source as you already do today. When you set up your sync run schedule frequency, you have many choices. You can either run on demand, you can run hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or we do also support custom cron schedules. And with that, you'll be able to set up the sync schedule for your first data source sync. And some additional thoughts here. When you're working with data outside of just document-based data with Amazon Kendra, we do support features like custom document enrichment, where you can build a custom ingestion pipeline to pre-process types of data into AWS. So for example, with Amazon Transcribe, if you have video or audio-based content, like you have a podcast or video that you would like to make searchable via Amazon Kendra, you can run those files through Amazon Transcribe to create the appropriate transcriptions that can also be indexed into Amazon Kendra. With this, you can create a true media search experience. Also, if you have PDF or other digital documents that you'd like to extract the information out of via an OCR process, you can work with things like Amazon Textract to extract that data and that text out of those files. You can also work with services like Amazon Comprehend, where you can create the metadata tags and identity verification for those files. If you also have image-based files and you want to create searchable metadata, you can work with other services like Amazon Recognition that can create those tags and that metadata that can be ingested and searched via Kendra as well. And second is custom synonyms. If you also do have specific business acronyms or abbreviations within your organization that you would like to correct with Amazon Kendra, you can use custom synonyms. As an example, if you have a user wanting to search for AWS or Amazon Web Services, and you want them to get the same results, we support this through custom synonyms. Similar acronyms like NASA, if you have different ways you abbreviate or have periods between your abbreviations, you can include those as custom synonyms. Or if you have common misspellings, if you're looking for information like brake as an automotive brake as the example, but maybe users or employees are commonly misspelling it as in how you break something, you can use custom synonyms to help with these types of use cases for common misspellings as well. Some of the features that we've recently launched this year would be first, our experience builder process. It's an enhanced UI experience for Amazon Kendra. We'll see more about how this works later in the demo. Second is our search analytics dashboard. This makes it easy to easily understand how users are finding relevant search results. You can see things like the top queries and how customers are asking questions with your search application. You can also see important metrics like how often are you getting an instant answer, or when are you getting a zero search result, so that you can identify the quality of your search results and any gaps in the content that you're serving for your employees or for your customers. And here in 2022, we've launched a number of new connectors. Here are just some examples that we've launched since the start of the year. We're proud to announce that we've launched Amazon FSx for Windows File Server, Slack, Quip, Box, GitHub, Alfresco Enterprise, and Jira as new connectors this year. We're excited as well for forward-looking for any other future connectors that we will launch, so please feel free to stay connected with the AWS What's New blog to see any future connectors that Amazon Kendra releases. And with that, I'll turn it over to Rajesh here, who will give you a quick overview of the architecture for the demo today, and then jump into a demo itself. With that, Rajesh, would you like to walk through the architecture?
Thank you, Tim. Welcome, everyone. Let us dive into the demo, the fun part. In today's demo, we will see how Amazon Kendra can be used to securely search documents stored in the Amazon FSx for Windows File Server. Let us first go through the demo architecture. The AWS Managed Microsoft Active Directory service is used to set up all users and group information. AWS Single Sign-On service is then used to sync with the Microsoft AD and provide a common interface for Amazon Kendra and Experience Builder to authenticate users and fetch group information. Amazon FSx for Windows File Server is hosted inside a VPC, which will carry all the user files and make it available for sharing across Windows systems. We also set up a Windows computer, which is connected to the Microsoft Active Directory domain, as well as the files from the Amazon FSx for Windows File Server is shared. Lastly, there is Amazon Kendra index that's created, and we configure Amazon Kendra connector for FSx for Windows to crawl and index all the data from the FSx Windows File Server. Now let's switch quickly and look at the actual implementation of the demo. For the purpose of this demo, I have already created Amazon Kendra index, which I will use to showcase the various setup process and procedures, as well as how the search function works. As a prerequisite, I've also created the SSO, AWS SSO and the directory service and sync them together and pulled all the user and group information so that the Kendra can automatically use it. Also, Amazon FSx for Windows File Server service has been set up and has been linked to a Windows file system. Let me quickly take a look at show you a quick look at the Windows file system. So here I have connected to through remote desktop to the Windows machine, which has been already connected to the domain and also hosts some sample files. The sample files selected here are from AWS white papers. So we have placed these files inside the FSX shared folder, and these files are categorized by different folder structure. We've also created different users representing different personas. In this case, Patricia representing a software architect, James representing a database architect, John as a machine learning architect, and Tom as an authenticated user with general purpose uh, access privileges. We have also created different groups to represent these personas. And these groups are SA group, which is the software architect group, DB group, database administrator and architect group, ML group, which represents the machine learning users, as well as regular authenticated users, which is represented by users underscore group. Within these documents, as it is general practice in any enterprise, that these folders and documents with containing critical data may be secured. So the way we have secured here is by defining security properties for each of the folder. So in this case, for the machine learning folder, only administrators and the machine learning software architect, solution architect groups are given access to this folder. Similarly, the best practices and general purpose folders are available for any authenticated users. The security and well architecture is available for SA user as well as database and machine learning user, and so on and so forth. So we will see during the course of the demo how Kendra fetches this information related to access control list and uses it to filter content at the later part of this demo. Now let's switch back to Amazon Kendra console, and I will take you through the individual steps required to set up your Amazon Kendra index. The first step is to create an index. Here I have already created a Kendra AI search demo index. However, I will just quickly show how an index is created. So you go to the home page and then click on the create index page. Give a name for your index, let's say demo. And for role, you can select create new role and then specify, provide a name. And you will notice Kendra automatically prefixes with Amazon Kendra name badge as well as the region badge. It is always recommended that you enable encryption. So this will ensure that all your data is encrypted. For this demo, I will select a default AWS Kendra managed key. You can bring your key as well. I'll skip the tags for now. Let's press next. Now in this place, you can now define how you would like to configure the user access control for Kendra. If you select no, all the index content is displayed during the search, and any user information and access control list that was collected during the sync period is ignored. However, to keep it secure, let's select S. And this will ensure that user authentication is enabled. Also, once you select S, you can now specify what type of user authentication token to use. Multiple token types are supported. For the purpose of the demo, we will use a simple JSON token. Here, we will specify the key names that will contain the username and group information. So here we've just selected the default. And the next, you can also specify whether you want Kendra to look up the group membership information for various users. And this is typically done by using configuring AWS SSO. So I will select AWS SSO here. Since we have already set up a single sign-on service, this Kendra automatically connects to it and picks up all the information. I'll click next. Here you can select between two different editions. We recommend early users who are just trying use developer edition. However, if you feel that you're going to use more than 10,000 documents to validate Kendra, we always recommend to select enterprise edition. For the purpose of this demo, let's select developer edition. And once you click create, this will take about 30 minutes to provision a new Kendra instance. So for now, I will cancel it. But that's about it. You're ready to go. So now let's use our pre-existing Kendra instance. So this Kendra has been already provisioned. So once you enter it, you will see multiple options. So since we will have to connect to the FSX for Windows file server, let's select a data source and click on add data source. Here you'll get a list of all the different data sources that are built in as well as partner provided listed. So we will select for the purpose of this demo, Amazon FSX connector. So let me click on the add connector, provide a name for this FSX data source. And we will quickly see, so we will skip the description for this demo, as well as we'll select the language as the default, then click next. So the Kendra connector automatically fetches all the different file system, FSX file systems that are being provisioned. And in this case, there is only one, so it already lists this for you. So we just select that, and you can see what type of file system this is. This is Amazon FSX for Windows File Server. The next step is to provide an administrative user ID and password. So for this, we will use the pre-existing secret that I've already created. This is typically a key, like a user ID and password that has the administrative privilege for your domain. The next step is to configure the VPC and the security group where your FSX file server resides. So in this case, I have set up this separate new VPC, which ends with 7C5. I'll select that and also select the subnet where the file server is located. And last step is to provide the security group that will that will allow the required permissions for Kendra to access the files. So next is to set up a role. So here again, we'll just create a new role and then give FSX DS. And then notice that Amazon Kendra automatically prefixes to the role name. Press next. We can now set up some schedules, the frequency in which the sync operation and crawl operation happens. For now, we will select run on demand. Then press next. Now, different users may have different requirements and different fields that they would like to catalog as part of the crawling process. So we allow this optional page for users to add additional fields and map them. By default, Kendra already maps certain mandatory fields for you right out of the box, so we don't have to make any modification here. So let's press next. And then we just review all our settings. The file system ID looks good, VPC looks good, role name is fine, sync schedule looks good. And then we just press add data source. This will take few seconds for the roles to propagate and a new data source to be created. So now the new data source FSX for DS has been created. We can further use document enrichment feature to create additional metadata or set up additional metadata. So in this case, we will create a new document enrichment setup for the newly created data source and use a basic configuration operation to update the category attribute for the search process. So here we will use the source URI, which is the source of the file, and then we will use a simple operator like contains. And we know that from the structure of the folder that the different folder names represents different category. For example, general will be one of the folder name. So we can use that. If we see that folder name in the URI, we can use that same information to create a new category. So I will select the category field here and then set up target action as update. This process can be repeated for all the other folder names. And once we have this, click next. Here, optionally, for more advanced use case, a Lambda function can be attached as well for specific fields. And these Lambda functions can then connect to other AI services such as recognition, translate, to do further operations related to extracting data and use and pass it along to Kendra for indexing as well. For now, we will skip this step. We will just select a new role and give a name like CDE FSX DS CDE and say next. So once you say add document enrichment, it's going to create the document enrichment feature as well, enable that feature as well. So for now, I will cancel this. And let's take a look at the previously created FSX document. Here I have set up the categories for all the different folders. Now we are ready to sync the data source. So I would go select this data source and then say sync now. And once the sync is completed, you will see in the sync history how many files have been added and what is the status of that sync. Once the sync is completed, you are now ready to do search. So to share your search experience to different users, Amazon Kendra has recently launched a new feature called experiences. So here you can go and create an experience, which is essentially a web application that contains the various components to help build your search page. So let's quickly take a look at the experience setting. So when you create an experience, you would select the data source that you would want the experience to search. And you would also specify the user who's the owner who can define the experience. So the other users, the other role that you can define is a viewer, who are the different users who can view the experience but not make any modification. So as an owner of the experience, you can make changes to the web page that is created. So let's take a quick look at how this page looks like. Let me increase the zoom size for better viewing. So once I launch this experience, it's going to ask me the user ID. Since we have already integrated this with single sign-on, let me just give the admin user ID and then log in with the password. This is the Active Directory user ID and password. All right. So as soon as you enter, you will see a live view, which is the normal view where you would go search for a text. And you will also see a build mode, which is only visible for the administrators. So let's look at the build mode. So here, once I start typing in a question, like what is S3, you will immediately see that various components and sections of the Amazon Kendra experience is displayed. Now the administrator can go configure each of these components as they see fit. So for example, if you would like to configure what categories and facets that you would like to be seen on the left-hand side, then you would just go select on this filter search results, click on that gear icon, and once you are there, you can add additional fields. So for example, category, created at, or all other fields that's available uh, for filtering. So for now, we will just leave it at category. Similarly, you can also define what type of uh, what is the title and what type of description you would like to see, what are the different attributes you would like to see in your search results as well. So this is a quick and easy way for users to create user experiences without any coding. So once you're done, you can click on the publish. Usually this takes a while to refresh internally. So for now, I will just use what I've already published. Now let me close this and then let's now try to log in again as a regular user and then see what happens. Now let us see how a regular ordinary user logs in, what kind of experience the user sees. Let's log in as Patricia. Patricia is a solution architect. Come and let's give the password. All right. So now, as a normal user who does not have administrative privilege, she does not see the build mode. All she is presented with a text box to ask a question. So let's put in a question. Patricia is interested in which service uh, provides 9 levels of durability. And so let's put in that question and see what happens. So immediately, Amazon Kendra is able to, based on its natural language processing, it's able to understand the intent of the user. In this particular case, the user is looking for a service and with 11 nines of durability. And it's able to search the document and using the natural language capabilities, it's able to immediately provide the answer as Amazon S3. It also provides an excerpt from the document where it found this answer and, and highlights the various portions of the document that are pertinent to the specified answer. In addition, it's also able to provide a list of other relevant documents that are sorted by uh, by the natural language processing unit. You can also see on the left hand side on the category, Patricia being a solution architect, if you remember, does not have privilege to see machine learning or database related folders. So the answers that she got from is only from the documents that she has access to. And the rest of the documents have been removed from her search result. Amazon Kendra thus provides a powerful way for organizations to enforce access control even when doing real-time searches. Let's try another user in this and see what they would see, what their results would look like for the same query. Let me close this browser, and now we will see how like John, as a machine learning expert, will see the results. So open the new page. Let's go to the same experience URL. Now let's log in as John at demo.com and then press next. Let's also do password. Now, John is also curious as to which service provides now 11 nines of durability. And you quickly see that Kendra is able to highlight Amazon S3 as the answer. In addition, you can also see that the machine learning folder is also highlighted, given that John is a machine learning expert and have access to this folder as well. So results include documents from this folder as well. You can also do sort these documents by different category, creator time, data source, or title, or view count, which provides higher fidelity for the users to do their research. Let's recap. In this presentation, we saw how Amazon Kendra makes ingesting documents with connectors and searching for insights using natural language processing easy and secure. We invite you to get your Amazon Kendra journey started by visiting us at awsamazon.com/Kendra or calling your AWS representative. Thank you.